We need more people in this industry. You can see with the stats that talks to skill short. So we need to be the voice. We need to encourage young people to look at cybersecurity not with a negative lens, but of what is the good that we can do, to help South Africa and the world to be a better place. I mean, cybersecurity crimes are there. It's just another crime. Right? As a public person or as a civilian, it's your duty to make sure that you fight crime, right? And cybersecurity is another crime. We must actually be the voice and spread the word out there, and we need more people.
Cyber heroes and cyber fans, welcome to another episode. As you know, I'm your boy, Mr. Fingers. Yep, that cyber security guy. If it is your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. And today's show, we absolutely have another one. I know I always say I have a phenomenal guest, but today we obviously do have a very phenomenal guest. He is the current Vice President of Cloud Security Alliance South Africa, leading cloud security initiatives and global collaborations from African continent. He also holds the esteemed title of Chief Information Security Officer at Wits University, where he steers the entire cybersecurity ecosystem of one of South Africa's premium academic institutions. With over 2 decades of experience, his career is a masterclass in leadership, impact, and innovative. From managing ICT strategy and government for the city of Johannesburg, to driving cybersecurity innovation at Armsco, to influencing public sector tech strategy, he's worn so many hats. I can continue and go on. Not only that, he's not just building systems, he's building people, policies, and purpose in area where digital resilience matters the most. Ladies and gentlemen, today we absolutely have a phenomenal guest. Please help me welcome Galeboe Mogotsi, the main man himself, which we've been waiting for. Welcome, brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the invite. And yeah, I couldn't wait to be here. So I'm excited.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited to have you on the show. And obviously, you've been in the industry for so long. I mean, almost 2 decades. That's like, that's so long, Yeah. But for me, I want to know, as a guy coming from South Africa, we know that most of us come from the township. We've never heard what cybersecurity is. But what really inspired you to get into the industry? Do you mind taking us back to where it all started?
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, Kitsakokasilin from a township, in Tabanchu, Freestata, and I think we all start with IT, right? We all start with tech in mind. And yeah, I came to Joburg to study. Then I did obviously my degree in IT. I then went and did my postgrads and my masters and right? But obviously, in that journey, then cybersecurity became something that is there that we as IT leaders have to obviously be thinking about, right? But from my speciality in tertiary level, I specialize in network and security. That's my specialty. It has been information security has been something that I've always, did and preached from different organizations that I've been in. So, I always tell people cybersecurity, the buzzword, we've been doing information security, but yeah, anyway, it's just to put governance in place, we've been told that we like shooting off our hips as InfoSec people, right? But then cybersecurity comes in with a governance lens, and it guides us on how we have to be protecting our organizations and put the proper cyber resilience in place, So yeah, so I met a guy when I was doing my internship. He's Fatwani Marwala. He was one of my mentors. He's actually Professor Marwala's younger brother, but he passed on. He's the guy who I actually, learned proper sec, infosec in an organization, because when I was intern, I was looking at him with his blue screen, black screen, and he's doing PF Sense that time, all those things. And I got very intrigued, and I started learning from him. And yeah, from then, it has been a second nature to me, and somebody has to do it, right? Others are saying, why are you doing cybersecurity? Somebody has to do it. So this is me right here, sitting here, and, always trying to say, we need more people in this industry. You can see with the stats that talks to skill shortages, you can see all over the world, right? So we need to be the voice. We need to encourage young people to look at cybersecurity not with a negative lens, but of what is the good that we can do, to help South Africa and the world to be a better place. I mean, cybersecurity crimes are there. It's just another crime, right? As a public person or as a civilian, it's your duty to make sure that you fight crime, right? And cybersecurity is another crime. So we must actually be the voice and spread the word out there, and we need more people.
Yeah, you spoke something very powerful when you said there's a huge skill gap in cybersecurity. Now, I've seen that happen, and I've seen it's happening right now. And most roles, they say they're looking for somebody who's experienced. But what happens if somebody doesn't have the experience, but they want to go into cybersecurity?
Yeah, so I always say that I like young kids or the youth that is intentional. They, if you know what you want to do and raise up your hand, the likes of us will see you and try to assist you in any other way. It might not be for me to employ you where I'm working. It might be me saying that I can mentor you. It might be me saying I can introduce you to my cycle so that you can even beef up your skill to make sure that we put you in a path that you would want to see yourself in the near future. And we are adding experience while we're moving in that journey, and our circle of CISOs in South Africa, we talk a lot. We share contacts, we share these kind of ideas of saying, hey, I've got this young boy who has done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see you've got a role here. I can vouch for this boy. I've been working with him or the girl, the past 6 months or 8 months, and I can vouch for him or her. Give him or her a chance to start in the organization from a junior level, and then you can grow him up. But opportunities are there. For me, it's about a young man saying that I'm raising up my hands, right? And we must do away from doing these archaic ways of doing job descriptions, and it's something that I would want to look at going forward. We must we keep on saying that these kids must go and do these courses that are being provided that are free, right? From a cyber point of view, the likes of Google, AWS, Microsoft, they will provide those. And we keep on saying, build your own labs and practice and do this, do this, do this. But then we are going to come back and say, where's the experience? We must move away from that and move towards what can you show me as a bare minimum? How can I put a program in place to build you as a young person so that you can be where you want to be? And we must be intentional as well as the CISOs all over the world, saying that we keep on, singing the song of saying there are no skills. We know. And we lack talent, blah, blah, blah. But what are we doing about it? If we are not intentional of changing the archaic ways of us been thinking all these years and move with times, then we'll keep on singing the same song. So we must really, really look at how we do talent management. And it shouldn't be the traditional way of doing things.
And that is so true as well, because I've seen some job descriptions which don't make sense to the job, where everything is just mixed. So they would say they're looking for an entry level, but they're going to ask a person to have a CISSP. I mean, I'm looking at your journey. You started off as an intern, and now obviously you've worked your way to become a CISO. But I want to know in terms of your mindset shift. Number one, did you ever think that you'll be sitting where you're sitting?
No. I thought, when we started, when I started and saying that I'm going to do IT, it was after the Y2K, phenomenal that happened. And we're intrigued of saying, wow, I would want to be the person who can be in IT and working with these things, but obviously by then you think about superficial and science fiction things, And I remember, I'm coming back, but I remember when I had to specialize in university. AI was there, right, as a specialization leg, but I said, no, this thing, I can't do these things of robotics. These things are science fictions, right? But look at it right now, right? Look at it right now. So I started in IT. I thought, I'm going to build myself in a tech space where, I will provide tech solutions, But when I specialized in network and security from my second year, then mind shift started. I started seeing things differently, saying, okay, there's this layer of making sure that the environment gets protected. And maybe let me look at it, right? And people were doing this. Thousands of people were doing software development by then, right? It was the only layer that people think, it's the only specialization. But some of us went into networking and security because we're intrigued with this thing of protecting the environment, And that's how it started actually. But then when I got an internship, my internship was from an ICT support base. I got in there and I actually told my line manager saying that I'm glad that you appointed me, but I'm going to be working extra to make sure that I shadow the security guys, because even though I'm doing support, first line support, and I'm assisting people, I'm going to do printers and whatever, but I know what I want to do. So give me a chance to shadow the security guys. And I was doing that. And that's how that mind shift, and it shifted by then. Then I started being intentional of what I want to do.
Yeah, I really love that. Let's talk more about your role. Number one, there's two roles you've been appointed at. But let's talk about this one. This one is my favorite one, where you are the Vice President of Cloud Security Alliance of South Africa. Take us through that. First of all, what is Cloud Security Alliance South Africa? What is that? And what is your role in that?
So let me start from a global point of view. So there's a CSA Global. It's a alliance or an organization from US. It's US based, right? So it's got lots of chapters around the world. So they approached us, a bunch of our CISOs in South Africa, saying that we don't have a chapter in South Africa. Would want you guys to start a chapter. And the chapter then we set between myself and the other board members, and we decided, what are we going to do with this chapter? What does CSA mean to South African context? What does cloud security mean to South African context? So Cloud Security Alliance deals with the challenges that we are facing when coming to cloud workloads, when coming to security. We've been comfortable in many years with managing SEC within our borders, right? We're comfortable of protecting our parameters, protecting our users internally. But I mean, the landscape is just, now you can't say you can only do that internally. Then obviously cloud computing came in place. A lot of people with digitizing and emerging technologies in mind, they're moving their workloads to cloud. But the issue that is there is when we moved to cloud, it was around COVID. And the main thing that we wanted to do is to give business service and to give them continuity while they're working from home, right? With these tools that are coming with these cloud workloads. But then we didn't think about security and governance in those workloads, where we've put our data, where our users are accessing those. It doesn't matter if it's a SaaS, if it's a PaaS, if it's, we didn't think about that. We only thought about that afterwards, after effect, when these cloud service providers are starting telling us about shared responsibility, right? And saying that you've got responsibility as the organization, and these are your responsibilities. Now we open our eyes and say, what have we got ourselves into? So there was no awareness. We didn't know what we're getting ourselves into. It was limited, knowledge. We just wanted businesses to continue during COVID. So the Alliance job is to say that here we are, and more organizations are still moving towards cloud because of digital transformation, because of capabilities that comes with AI. Maybe they want to utilize high performing computing on the cloud and. But what are the challenges that comes with that from a security point of view? People still don't know. So our alliance is there to say that as a South African community, how can we come together and share this good gospel We can have webinars, we can have events, we can have panel discussions, roundtables, we can have podcasts like these to partner with us to say that let's spread that good gospel. Let's engage further. Let's shred out. Let's see if what these cloud service providers has given us as a shared responsibility, is it actually our job? Let's have those discussions, those difficult conversations. And we can go back to these cloud service providers and sit with them collectively as CISOs and say that, but guys, look at this way differently, and we can have those robust. So we do that. We do. CSA globally has got certifications when coming to cloud security as well. And I mean, just last week, they got silver in cybersecurity certification in the world. So there are plenty of them that will be providing as part of the alliance. Our members are going to be able to get into those courses and, get knowledge from a cloud security point of view. We're going to be partnering with universities to say that how can we start introducing cybersecurity and cloud security within the, both computer science and maybe faculty of engineering, and how can we have done that. From my role as a CISO at VETS, there is an agreement with Alibaba. Alibaba is providing VETS computer science students with accreditation for Alibaba Cloud, right? So we have to start doing that so that we change the way we are teaching our kids, providing them with a future modern workplace mindset so that when they get out of our institutions, they have all these things already with them. So plenty of things that we're going to be doing. We have just obviously started right now. We're busy with all the governance processes within forming the South African chapter. It's an NPO. We've just registered it. I think we got approval about a month ago. So right now we're sitting with board members, and I would want you to invite us next time to come and thrash out more about what is our plan and what is our charter when we talk about CSA in the South African context.
I'm looking forward to also obviously having you guys on board, because obviously I'm also planning a few things.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can work on a partnership going forward on something greater and bigger to make sure that we do spread that cybersecurity awareness to help young and also people who do cybersecurity through cloud, and also through introducing them through cybersecurity careers as well.
Of course. And I mean, we all know, right? I mean, cloud is cloud, right? Everybody's just moving there. You'll find out the next 5 years, I mean, the on-prem landscape is actually very, very limited. So let's make sure that we empower our community and our youth that are upcoming, that are, interested and raised their hands in this industry of ours.
And then tell me a bit more about, we have this myth that cybersecurity is a guy wearing a hoodie and all these things. But what's your one cybersecurity myth that you wish that beginners or people who want to get into cybersecurity, or you wish they knew about cybersecurity?
Cybersecurity is not about hacking. So they think that, exactly that, of saying I will be wearing my hoodie, sitting in the corner, the garage or the basement, and start doing all these silly things or crime associated with that. There's a good news when coming to cybersecurity. As cybersecurity professionals, we are here to make sure that we fight, those bad omens that are coming with people thinking that cybersecurity is about hacking. No, we are ethical professionals that are making sure that we are protecting our organizations, we are protecting our people, our identities. We're actually protecting South Africa. We're actually the police. Police are fighting physical crime. They come and knock and do their threat intelligence. They've got intelligence. We do threat intelligence as well. But for us, it's obviously from a logical point of view, not from a physical point of view, right? So we are wearing that cap, but it's not a hoodie, it's just a police cap, sitting there and making sure that we are protecting South Africa and the world. So yeah, the myth again of saying, no, this thing is hard. What are you going to be doing in this? No. We must move away from that. It's got a discipline, right? Any other profession has got a discipline, that we are following in our space, right? we are not just doing things. We are doing things basis on intelligence, basis on risks that we want to mitigate, basis on, offensive tactics that we want to obviously embark on, and all those things. And we are governed by a particular, ethical, hat that we are wearing as professionals in the space.
Beautiful. What would you give if, for example, you were to start out your career from scratch, right? The roadmap to cybersecurity. How would you start?
Sure. There are plenty of material online, right? Plenty of courses online, plenty of virtual labs online that you can play around and get your virtual hands dirty, So I always say that, our youth, fortunate enough, they've got internet, they've got iPads, they've got laptops. Let's move away from TikTok a bit. I'm not saying it's wrong there. There are a lot of TikTok, things that you can learn from as a youth, which is good, but even for entertainment. But if you are intentional and you know what you want to do, and you know that, what, I want to raise up my hand and attract the likes of, Mr. Fingers there to be my mentor. Can I do it with me always being on TikTok and watching silly jokes? And no, you must raise up your hand and go on the internet and look for these courses, enroll for these courses, get into visual labs, get into GitHub, community, get into the cyberspace community and do. It's about doing. It's not about actually sitting there saying that somebody might maybe spot me there and give me a job. It's not about that. It's about you doing and showing that you can do something, But hence I said, going back to the first question that you have asked me, when I commented saying that even us as talent managers, we must move away from the traditional way of spotting these talents, because I can't do that with a CV, and say, I want to see what you can do. We've got third year and fourth year students in the institute at VETS, where I'm saying, how can I partner with the, computer science and engineering faculties to make sure that I have a fit of these young sprite bucks that wants to come in and be ethical hackers and right? So going back to your question, getting into the internet and looking out for these courses that are there online. Get into LinkedIn, DM some of us. You'll never know. Go and knock. I've opened up a lot of doors for young kids. I mentor a lot of young kids, because I became intentional of saying, if I'm not doing it, who's going to do it? And I can't be sitting in conferences as a speaker or a keynote speaker and talk about skill shortage if I'm not being intentional of the way I would want to do talent management and talent to get these kids on board. And you'll be amazed how these kids can give you the capability that these kids come with. I've seen it firsthand, right? And it's because they've been doing these things before they can even, start studying, actually. Or maybe when they were doing even first year, because they knew that cybersecurity is what I want to do, they start going and researching and finding more of the opportunities that are there. And they've been mentored by different people even before, So those are the things that if I have to give a youngster who just, want to start, or for me, like you said, resetting and going back, those are the things. Because with me, when I was doing IT, it's not like I did some research before and find out what are the opportunities that are there. It was just, everybody wanted to do IT that time. IT this, IT that. We're like, okay, cool, let's get into this thing and see. But because I know now, so people need to really be intentional at a very young age, and you must actually go and mine for that information, and information is all over. And some of us are there as well to say that, come in and let's discuss and let's put a roadmap when coming to these courses. What do you really want to do within the cyberspace? We can mold you to what you want to do, right? So those are the things that are there and young kids can do.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I really appreciate you sharing your knowledge, your experience as well. And you actually answered also another question which I wanted to end with, which is mentorship, where you do obviously are open to mentorship for some people as well. And you're very much open for people to reach you on LinkedIn and to reach out to you on LinkedIn. Thank you for that. You heard that, ladies and gentlemen. he
Yeah.
said, please reach out to him on LinkedIn. He's not scared. He will definitely reply to you. Whatever questions you have, he will reply to you. But please, sometimes, guys, you ask obvious questions. Do not ask an obvious question where you know you can Google search the question. Please
Please.
ask
Yes.
questions relating to the industry, relating to the experience. And for example, maybe ask a question like, what three mistakes do you think one should watch out for? You know, something like that. So he knows that what to advise you on going forward as well. Right. I really appreciate you, brother, making time for the podcast. And I really appreciate you also sharing your knowledge and your experience.
Thanks, man. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the invite as well. And yeah, we must do more. We must really do more as professionals in this space. And with your help, Mr. Fingers, get a lot of CISOs in this platform. Let them come in and, share their knowledge as well. Let's spread this knowledge all over. And let's make sure that we capture a lot of youth out there to make sure that we uplift them, reskill them, skill them, and put a program in place for them to prosper and be bigger than us. I don't want someone who's going to be like me. I want somebody who's going to be bigger than me, way, way bigger than me. And, sitting there in my old age, I will want to say, that person, that dude who's there is coming from my hands. And that will be good.